In the small, quiet town of Whitehaven, nestled in a valley surrounded by forested hills, life was simple and uneventful. Its population of 300 thrived on close-knit bonds and routines, but beneath the quaint charm of Whitehaven lay a coldness, not of temperature but of spirit, a subtle cruelty reserved for outsiders. One crisp winter morning, a gypsy woman arrived. Her truck slowly rolled into the town square, its vibrant hues standing stark against the dull gray of Whitehaven's aging facades. She was an older woman, her face marked by deep lines that seemed to carry stories from another world. Her name, she told those who cared to listen, was Mariska. Mariska offered trinkets, handmade charms, and fortunes in exchange for money. But the townsfolk regarded her with suspicion. Whispers of theft and curses spread quickly, and children were yanked indoors if they wandered too close. Mariska's requests for warmth, food, or simple kindness were met with curt refusals or mocking laughter. Even the pastor, who often preached of charity, turned her away from the church's threshold. By the end of the day, Mariska's truck left as it came, rolling slowly out of town. As she left, her voice rang out behind her, chilling those who heard it.
A kindness denied comes with a heavy toll. May you find beauty, even in death.
The following morning, Whitehaven awoke to an otherworldly sight. Snow fell in thick, heavy flakes, shimmering like powdered diamonds. It blanketed the town in pristine white within hours, muffling sound and turning every surface into a canvas of untouched beauty. The snow was unlike anything the town had ever seen. It didn't simply fall. It danced, swirling in mesmerizing patterns as if choreographed by an unseen hand. The air was crisp, but not biting, and the sun cast an ethereal glow over the landscape. Drawn by the spectacle, the townsfolk poured into the streets. Children laughed as they built snowmen and carved snow angels. Adults marveled at the snowflakes, each more intricate than the last. Even the most reserved residents couldn't resist stepping outside to witness the surreal beauty. But as the hours passed, something strange began to happen. No one wanted to go back inside. The snow had an almost magnetic pull. Those who tried to leave its embrace felt an inexplicable urge to stay. The cold, which should have been unbearable, seemed distant. Time lost meaning as the townsfolk stood or lay in the snow, transfixed by its shimmering allure. Just a little longer, they told themselves. It's too beautiful to leave. By dusk, the streets were filled with figures frozen in place. Some lay with serene smiles, their arms outstretched in snow angels. Others sat or knelt, their faces turned skyward, eyes wide with wonder. Frost crept over their skin, turning them into statues of ice, soulless and lifeless. Clara Bennett had been bedridden for 3 days, fighting a high fever from a winter virus. Her small cottage at the edge of town was dark and silent as she drifted in and out of restless sleep. When she finally awoke, the sun was high and her fever had broken. She rose, weak but curious about the eerie stillness outside. Wrapping herself in a blanket, Clara stepped out into the blinding white landscape. The snow crunched underfoot as she called out, "Hello, is anyone there?" Her voice echoed, but no reply came. As she wandered through the empty streets, she found the townsfolk, or what remained of them. Snow angels stretched across every open space, each one perfectly shaped and distinct. Clara recognized the positions. Here was the butcher, lying where his stall once stood. There was the pastor, arms wide in his final pose. Their expressions were peaceful, almost joyful. The realization hit Clara like a blow. They were gone. All of them. Frantic, Clara stumbled back to her cottage and lit a fire. She pored over the events leading to the storm, her mind returning to the gypsy woman. Mariska's words rang in her ears.
A kindness denied comes with a heavy toll. May you find beauty, even in death.
She cursed us, Clara whispered, her breath fogging in the frigid air. This snow was her revenge. Outside, the snowfall had stopped. The sun set, casting long shadows over the town. Clara stared out her window, her reflection pale and hollow. As night fell, the snow angels seemed to shift, their shapes elongating, their hollow eyes fixing on her cottage. She shut the curtains, trembling, but she could still feel their gaze. Days turned into weeks. The snow remained untouched and unmelting, preserving Whitehaven as a frozen graveyard. Clara's isolation grew unbearable, but fear kept her from venturing beyond her door. She rationed her food, scribbled in journals, and prayed for salvation. One night, a soft knock echoed through the silence. Clara froze. No one should have been alive. Heart pounding, she opened the door to find a single snowflake, larger than any she'd seen, hovering in the air. It shimmered, and a whisper filled her ears. "Kindness saves, but cruelty damns." The snowflake disintegrated, leaving Clara alone once more. She realized the message was not just for her, but for anyone who might stumble upon Whitehaven. The story of the cursed town would become a warning. Treat strangers with care, for beauty can be as deadly as it is enchanting. Clara's journals were later found by travelers passing through the valley. They spoke of the gypsy woman, the snowstorm, and the fate of Whitehaven. The town itself was never found again, buried under a perpetual blanket of snow.